Hi, and welcome to Next Shift with Rick Wagan. Suzuki does not suck. Today, we're going to be talking about a post-game show of a game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game two of that preseason, game four of the Montreal's preseason. The Toronto Maple Leafs fielded a B minus team. It would have been a C team, but they had Nick Robertson out there who put away two goals. Montreal Canadiens did lose 2-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs today. Um, the biggest news of the night looks like we had two major injuries, at least one for sure, in Patrick Laine, with a really disturbing looking kind of knee on knee injury against Pare. Uh, doesn't look good. I've had my share of, I think, three surgeries now on my right knee. Uh, Hate to say it, but it feels to me like it's at least an ACL, maybe an ACL and MCL. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see. Could have just been a hyperextension, but didn't look good, and the team didn't seem very pleased going into the second and third period when they came out. There was Jack Guy who you can call it fought and tried to take down Pare, but was pretty much 7 minute power penalty against them and 10 other minutes and game misconduct, and you know it. And then there was a few other players that fought. Anderson, Slavkovsky, he took a pretty good shot to the face too, although the other guy was bleeding pretty badly. Um, the highlight of the night for me was PK Subban was in the house, and I'm not even a PK Subban fan. I guess the only other highlight is in Montreal. There was a President's Cup. This was a pretty bad game for the Montreal Canadiens. They had seven power plays and they went over seven, and they had their power play one unit out there. Um, Not gonna lie, I was extremely frustrated with seeing Matheson out there for seven straight power plays, and Lane Hudson, didn't have really a chance with Laine because he got hurt. So he was out there with Newhook, Anderson, Farrell, and he had Roy. And he was out there for the last 30 to 45 seconds of the power plays, and that power play didn't do much either. Um, but Lane Hudson looked good. I mean, he didn't, he had the ice 24, 25 minutes of ice time. He uh he looked good out there. Let me kind of run through the players and talk. I mean, the first line looked like they were kind of, we didn't really see a lot of 5-on-5. When it was 5-on-5, Slav looked good. He didn't look like he was doing anything good on the power play. Um, and there was a lot of power play time. Caulfield looks small out there. I hate to say it. I mean, I love the guy, but if he's not putting the puck in the net, if he's not taking the shots, if he's not going into the dirty areas, what's he doing? Again, I'm not saying it's too much his fault because it was mostly the power play they were on, but I wasn't impressed. Suzuki did some good things. He's a veteran. I think he's going through the motions, but he's a good player and he did a lot of positive things. He played a lot of minutes. I know that. I think they announced on the broadcast it was like 25 plus minutes with a minute or two left. So he was on the ice a lot. All the defensemen were down to four defensemen after the first 4 minutes of the game, 4.5 minutes of the game at 15th, 13 of the first period. Jack Guy had been thrown out. Reinbacher got hurt on his first shift, and so they were down to four defensemen, um, which Kandata played a few shifts on defense as well, which is says what it could say. Again, um, I'm disappointed. I think Wah, who I like, was kind of invisible tonight. He did some good things, but nothing great. Beck, the same thing. I mean, he had a couple of nice little plays here and there, but more or less he was killing penalties. There was a lot of penalties tonight. Um, Guys that were going to make the team. I guess the one bright spot for me personally is Mayu. I haven't been so high on Mayu. Today he looked really good. So I'll give Mayu my props and go from there. Nick Robertson's a goal scorer, but Primo has to make that save on the second goal. It just he was inside the dot, pretty much from the corner almost, and he just fired it between his legs. I mean, 1-0, the team's down. You know, if you want to win those kind of games, you need your goalie to make that kind of stop. You know, Hudson kind of let the guy get behind him, but again, it wasn't like Matheson, you know, kind of let him get that shot in and didn't expect it to go in. So, and neither did probably anybody, but you know, it happens. Again, I'm not too disappointed about it. Disappointed about the loss. I'm disappointed that Marty didn't try to get Laine Hudson on the ice with Suzuki and Doc and Caulfield and team for the power plays. As you noticed, they did finally score a nice goal at the end. It was a 6-on-5, and you had the regular power play unit, but they threw in Laine Hudson, and just the chemistry between Suzuki and Laine Hudson was obvious. And if you have that chemistry, you have to put them together on the power play. That's my 2 cents on that one. And then he just made a beautiful, I mean, there was a beautiful pass from Suzuki to Hudson, Hudson to Doc, which was, you know, backdoor, and that was a nice goal. It was the only time I think that Laine Hudson was on the ice with Doc and Suzuki in an odd man advantage. I know it was an empty net, but still, um, again, you know, you're not trying to win those games preseason. It's not that important. They're playing against a B minus, you know, Maple Leafs team. They didn't have Marner. They didn't have Nylander. They didn't have Tavares. They didn't have Matthews. They didn't have, you know, they didn't have most of their guys out there. And so not, you know, nothing to worry about from a loss perspective, but you know, they lost Laine most likely for a while, if not for the season, which is, you know, a bummer to say the least. You know, maybe this gives an opportunity for a Kapanen or a Beck or both to make the squad. You know, don't want that to happen that way, but you know, those are types of players that could benefit potentially from something like that. So, Laine Hudson was great. Matheson wasn't terrible, just the power play didn't do anything, and he didn't make anything happen on the power play. And I just thought they should have given a chance for Laine to get out there to see if something could happen. Other than that, you know, on to the next preseason game. We'll stay tuned to see how bad the injuries are to Reinbacher and to Patrick Laine. I'm not too optimistic about either, to be honest. I think Reinbacher looked like something around the hip, but I mean, I don't know how serious that one's going to be. We'll see. Again, frustrating game. Wasn't you know, a great showing by most of the guys. You know, they had a good lineup out there, and it just didn't. You know, it didn't turn out the way I thought it might. So, uh, we'll see from that perspective. There's another game tomorrow, I guess, or not tomorrow, but on Monday. Is it Monday? Let me check. It might be Tuesday, and I don't want to give you guys false information. Yeah, it's Tuesday. They're playing Ottawa at home. So that being said, guys, that's it. That's all for me for today. This is Next Shift. Suzuki does not suck. PK Subban was there. President Cup was happening in Montreal. There's worse days in September, but it wasn't a great one. So talk to you guys soon.